Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice to see you. My name's Dustin Cormier, and you're watching How to Rock Astrology. Today, we are going to be talking about Libra Moon with Libra Venus. And of course, we know that this is considered to be a conjunction that we have happening here, which is not considered to be a good thing in Vedic astrology. We're going to talk about why that is after we kind of build a little bit on the personality of each of these signatures. So, welcome. I'm figuring I'm going to give you guys a little intro of what this is all about, and then we're going to get into it. So today we're talking about the moon and Venus. It's important to consider that all of this is really sourced in our nature as the sun. But it's important to understand that the moon is all we can do with our sun nature. It is the bottom line basin that everybody meets when they meet us. If the sun is the king, then the moon is the queen. The moon is a crescent sliver of our sun's inner nature. It's our earthly subconscious whose sign, house, and aspects reveal the form that our sun energy must subside through. Consider it like the classic husband and wife duo within us. The husband is what the husband is, but he's refined by his wife, who gives a rhythm and a healthy ceiling, a realistic ceiling for the sun's potentials. It's our ceiling. We all need a ceiling. It's like, this is at least when the moon is working properly. Then we know what we can realistically do in a realistic rhythm and what that rhythm looks and feels like if we have a good moon. Think of the husband says, I want to eat a piece of blueberry pie. And the wife says, well, you know what that does to your blood sugar. And the son could just say, screw that, I can do whatever I want. But he wouldn't be true to the nature of what he is. The wife knows that. So without the moon, the person doesn't actually know what they can take, what they actually are, who they are. I got my kitty here to be hanging out with us in this session, I suppose. I got 2 new kitties, and they are a barrel of fun. So, if we didn't need... The sun is our basic nature, but the moon is a nature that everybody's personality, especially at the romantic level, needs to work through. If we didn't need to eat, sleep, have sex, enjoy friendship, etc., then we would just express our sun infinitely. But we do need to eat. We do need to sleep. We do need to have sex for the most part. And we do need to have friendships and things outside of the basic sun power. So if anybody wants to get in touch with the king personally, they have to go through the queen, which is the moon. Now, Venus is the sun's self-enjoyment style, as we've talked about. Venus is how we express affection, the sun's outgoing desire. But whatever that Venus attracts is subject to the subconscious reaction complex of the moon. This guy's going to chew up my necklace. We might have to change you up, little buddy, but we'll figure it out. So, that is why today we are discussing Libra moon with Libra Venus and what exactly is the energy signature here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it from my own perspective first, and then we're going to get into some readings. Libra moon has Venus, and Venus in Libra are both in the same sign. And in Vedic astrology reckoning, this is not a good thing. There is a very strong reasoning behind this. Vedic astrology talks about certain relationships, inherent relationships between the planets that Western astrology just has no idea about. But these dynamics are inherent to the nature of psychology. I often talk about how the moon is primary. It's a primary aspect of our ego, and Venus is the sharing that our ego does with the world in a way. So when the ego of the moon, of our basic needs, is in the same place as the way that we share our energy through, what ends up happening is that we share our energy in a selfish way because we need to take care of our needs. first in order to express them, because planets become blended whenever they are with each other. The moon is kind of aided a little bit by Venus, because Venus is a benefic. So just by being a benefic, by being in the same sign as the moon, there's going to be an ease presented by Venus to the moon. And that is a positive. But ultimately, the damage that the moon does to Venus is greater than what Venus gives to the moon as a positive thing. Because Venus is an enemy. That is to say, the moon is an enemy of Venus. It's because the basic nature of the ego of what the moon is doing inherently obstructs the sharing that Venus is supposed to represent. It's the part of us that has an open door to reciprocation. The moon, when it's in the same sign as Venus, will always get its own needs met first. And by getting its own needs met first, it accounts for its relationships. It accounts for its enjoyment and affection after getting what it feels instinctively that it needs. And it ends up often even instinctively taking more than it really needs, because that is the nature of the moon obstructing Venus, if that makes sense. So we'll talk about it a little bit more. Essentially, both of the receptive natures in this person, the actual nature of what the person wants to be, as well as the outgoing enjoyment nature that inherently attracts people, that's Venus. Both of these are jiving to the Libra tune. Libra, of course, we know, is a sensitive, aesthetically refined sign. It's ruled by Venus. So Venus is in its natural place here, which is good for Venus. Venus does have strength here. And if Venus is placed in angles to its friends, if Saturn is positively aspecting Venus and Mercury, Venus can have ways of getting delight from its friends to kind of save this situation. Where, for example, if Saturn is aspecting this Venus, it'll ground the external aspects of reciprocation and business and duties. It'll secure them through Saturn, through the necessity of need, so that the moon's ego will not instinctively grasp at the fair reciprocation in the relationship. Same thing with Mercury. Mercury provides communication data that makes it obvious that it'll hold its word, which means, again, the moon can't just say, honey, I feel like just hanging in today, even though we promised that it's Friday night and we would go out on a date. We got into this relationship knowing that my feelings are important in whatever we're going to do, and I don't feel like it. If you're a good partner to me, then you're going to do what I feel when I feel like it. That's kind of what can happen with this Libra moon. And they don't realize it. They attract based on a mutual desire for them and the partner to cater to the Libra moon person's emotions. And since that's how the relationship started, that tends to be how the relationship's going to perpetuate as well. Unconsciously. Because the partner thinks, oh, well, if I can be a bit of a doormat to this person's emotions, then I'm going to be able to keep them. They're giving me that opportunity. Voila, there it is, right? So we'll talk about a little bit about how these two can damn each other, but ultimately, really, what this means is that a person with the moon conjunct Venus has to do a little bit of meditating. They have to find out how they can release a little bit of attachment to their own enjoyment so that they can see the other person in context more. Because you might not realize that the nature of your needs might be a little bit excessive in terms of your enjoyment, which usually what happens is that you and your partner enjoy your enjoyment, which is nice for a while, but it's unrealistic. It's nice that your partner enjoys pleasing you and even babying you as a trade of energy. Their Venus has found that your Venus wants this to happen naturally, because that's what you're doing. That's what you're perpetuating. So the person will do that and they'll cater to you, but eventually you'll both find that you're being a bit unrealistic about it, unconsciously. So ultimately, the moon has no enemies, actually. So the moon is regularly placed in Libra. It's pretty far, actually, though, from its exaltation in Pisces. I'm sorry, its exaltation in Taurus. The moon is exalted in Taurus. The moon is debilitated in Scorpio. So by being in Libra, it's really right next to its debilitation point. So this could be a moon which loses independence. And it wants to be revered as somebody who helps people. This moon in Libra just wants to... Again, it's Libra, which makes it seem like a sharing energy, but it wants to be appreciated for this sharing. Yes? Libra moon wants to be appreciated for its sharing. It's so close to Scorpio moon that it comes off like it's almost like it's insulted if it can't be of service and if it can't be a little bit of a doormat of some sort. Not necessarily a doormat, but if it can't be of service to the partner in some way. That's how it wants to be appreciated, and that's what it needs in order to feel validated in a lot of ways. The fact that it's so close to Scorpio resonates with a selfish impulse. Man, my cat is all over my keyboard right now. You're going to mess me up. I'm going to find a place for this guy, but for now, what the hell, we'll enjoy him. Hey, buddy. So, since the moon is so close to Scorpio, it has a little bit of a selfish intent, even though its sign energy expresses as this reciprocation. It will feel insulted if it does not get that reciprocation. Now, this is especially a difficult thing when it comes to that Venus conjunction, because what happens here is the person perpetuates the need to be of service at my terms. You're not really thinking about how you ought to be of service to the other person, as long as it feels like it's in the pocket of the service that you like to apply. And the Libra Venus in you will actually get sucked asunder in a way, because the Libra and Venus is in its own sign and it enjoys being of service to people. So you will become a doormat trying to listen to the other person's energy, and you'll get frustrated when they don't give you enough room to serve them. And the Libra Venus will serve, will listen, and will show that you want to listen in this way. And you'll want to enjoy doing that as a reciprocal thing. But it can't be reciprocal because your moon is there, which means that the other person knows they have to anticipate that they got to start making things up to give you to do. Because you might be a bit insatiable about this sort of thing. So it's good for you to meditate, to release your attachments to the need to be of service to the other person. Because then the other person will have a more organic way of dealing with the desire that you have to be of service and to be receptive and to listen. Venus in Libra is a good place for Venus, but even Venus is one sign away from its debilitation in Virgo, which means that this Venus has an idea of the kind of service that they want to do for people. And they have an idea of it, and they kind of overemphasize that idealization. Kind of unconsciously. It's because it's Venus in Libra is so close to Virgo. Remember, exaltation and debilitation work by proximity, not by sign. So, this has been my sort of gist description of this sign combination from a Vedic perspective. Ultimately, from here, we're going to talk about these two planetary sign combinations by sign to just get a bit more of an organic energy happening of how this person enjoys themselves and their partners. So I've been reading, as we know, I've been reading from this book. It's called Erotic Astrology by Phyllis Vega. This reading is talking about the moon in Libra, and particularly we're going to jump right to the bed approach, the lovemaking approach of somebody with the moon in Libra. With the moon in Libra, your approach to lovemaking is glamorous and alluring. You appreciate the intricate rituals of old-fashioned courtship, and you enjoy being wooed with finesse and sophistication. It might have actually, it's possible, especially if there's deep afflictions to the moon here, that there will be so much desire for externals, for the nobility, for the candles and the atmosphere, that it actually kind of ruins the actual interaction of the two people. So keep that in mind. Sex and romance are intertwined in the mind of moon in Libra, and you prefer artful seduction to a carnal free-for-all. Just sex for sex's own sake won't necessarily do it. You need to have a bit of that romantic, loving, heartfelt gesture from the other person. Although, again, you can be upset when it's not there, and don't let that go to the extreme. Your erotic sensuality emerges most readily in a sumptuous setting that engages all of the senses. Luxurious bedding, sultry nightwear, soft music, flickering candles, and fresh flowers add the requisite spice to your lovemaking. A special night dedicated to love in a romantic setting with moonlight and whispered words of adoration serves as a genuine turn-on, and affectionate gestures and loving words draw out your passions and get your sexual juices flowing. Words, airy aspects of Venus, and the real holding of content in the mind, of gestures, of meaningful glances, of, oh, those moments where, oh, you like that song too? Oh my God. That's for the moon in Libra person. It's all these symmetries. It's all these aesthetic value sharing that's inherent deeply in the two people that you will probably be turned on by and feel like you are at home. It's important for you to have this sense of sharing in order for you to feel at home. Now, that's just the moon in Libra. And we know that, of course, the Venus placement for you, anytime you have a conjunction in the same sign, it's kind of hard to hear. It's hard to discern between the two planets. You know, your moon and your Venus probably feel very blended because they're in the same sign energy. So, let's talk a little bit about Venus in Libra. You know, so we know that the moon in Libra has a need to be felt nicely, for someone to approach them nicely. It doesn't necessarily turn them on. Like, moon in Libra falls in love with somebody who has this nobility and this noble character. And they're turned on by it as well, which means that you are bound to be kind of turned on by the same nature that also you want to be in bed with, and to sit on the TV with and watch television together with, which can over-sexualize you. So you need to find a balance there, because you can find that life's just not sexy enough sitting beside the TV because your partner doesn't have the same desire to get it all, to deeply enjoy your mutual natures as you do. So keep this in mind, because ultimately you have the capacity to be a great, deep, powerful enjoyer of the senses, of sensuality, and of lovemaking. It's just that it's your responsibility to curb back what is essentially a very powerful energy. Look at this guy. So, since we've gone through all of this, it's already turning into a long video. Let's talk about the moon in Libra with Venus in Libra, coming from Erotic Astrology by Phyllis Vega. Moon in Libra, Venus in Libra. Your amiable nature and genial disposition make you particularly easy to get along with, perhaps a little bit too easy, or you lack a sense of yourself. But where love and sex are concerned, you enjoy being an object of desire, and your charismatic allure makes the air around you crackle with erotic excitement. Once you form a romantic alliance, you're gonna fuck up my keyboard. Sorry. Once you form a romantic alliance with another person, you give it your all. Since you thrive on your significant other's love, affection, and approbation, you are readily influenced by his or her opinions and ideas. And this is probably, there's a mirror reflectiveness in you that really could do well with somebody who has a lot of fixed signs in their chart, because they have a fixed way that they want to be, and you are very cardinal active, acting on what is being given to you. So for somebody to have any strong emphasis of Aquarius especially would be a real turn on for this particular personality, because you have the ability to just keep changing and turning and having something totally new and different for every fixed nature of the other person. Although you probably crave some of that cardinal change at some level as well, which is frustrating because the other person needs to be a little bit of both. And really, with this kind of double emphasis, again, of the same sign energies, nobody is ever going to really completely sexually and romantically satisfy your deepest yearnings and longings because they run so deep. But meeting, the moon knows how to adapt with whatever's given it. And if you have a good moon, you'll find somebody who works for you, and you will get at least enough of an experience to be an enjoyable one, even though at some level you'll never really feel like you have completely found someone that's your perfect ideal. If these planets are well placed enough, you will find somebody who is the best of the possible partners. All in all, in the bedroom, you're more than happy to comply with all your lover's wishes and desires. More than happy. Just keep in mind that everybody is well served with a little bit of fixedness and with having your own routines, having your own sexual vantage to apply. So keep that in mind, because that might be, ultimately you've got a great skill as somebody who's receptive to what the other lover wants. But when you have a little bit of your own thing, your own ideas, this will give the other lover something to work with as well, so that they're not always the ones providing the thing for you to be reflective of, especially with the nature of your moon and Venus, you might deeply desire that this person is just going to give you something solid constantly that you can put in a delicious way. And when they can't, because it might feel to them like, I'm doing kind of all the work here. Although you in your mind are the one dressing everything, and that seems like it's a lot of work on your own place, ultimately if they're doing all of the initiating, it might feel like they're lacking a little bit of initiative, or that you're lacking initiative rather, and that it will be that much juicier if it was mutual. Or not necessarily mutual, but that at least if you had some of your own spine to contribute, right? I wonder if you know what I mean. This has been Libra, Moon, and Venus. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Did I kind of get it right? Do you guys feel like I was vibing on the right tune? Let me know in the comments, and we'll create a little bit of a comment community to talk about what we're experiencing through this sign. I'm Dustin Cormier for How to Rock Astrology. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you guys on the next one.